Imagine your child has Parkinson's disease and they are ravaged by episodes of shaking, uncontrollable shaking, and they cannot move properly, and this is invariably going to shorten their life. You would be devastated by this. How much would you be willing to spend to cure your child if there was a therapy available? Now imagine you giving your life savings, all your hard work, all your work for years invested over to a company for a therapy, and it fails you and your child dies. Finding life-saving therapies for things like Parkinson's and other diseases is crucial for the advancement of our society. And I'm going to talk about one such proposition that's on the table right now. Proposition 14. What does Proposition 14 state? Proposition 14 authorizes bonds continuing stem cell research. Initiative statute authorizes $5.5 billion state bonds for stem cell and other medical research, facility construction, administrative costs, dedicates $1.5 billion to brain-related diseases. It appropriates general fund monies for repayment. This expands related programs. Fiscal impact is increased state costs to repay bonds estimated at about $260 million per year over the next roughly 30 years. This is quoted from an official ballot. Now, there are various supporters. Those supporters include some of the most notable ones: Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, Governor Gavin Newsom, and various medical organizations. Opposing this proposition, as stated on the ballot or Ballotpedia, the only one stated is the Republican Party of California. Now, I'm going to argue that CIRM, that is C-I-R-M, the organization that has previously been funded by Prop 71 and would continue to be funded under this Proposition 14, has wasted taxpayer money and has not delivered on its promises from the previous Proposition 71, and that voting against Proposition 14 is crucial. It's important because it would be a continued waste of taxpayer money. I will break this down as to why. Essentially, we're gambling away more than $7 billion of taxpayer money. This is absolutely disastrous, especially in a time right now that we're going through the pandemic. CIRM has had 0 FDA-approved treatments. Meanwhile, stem cell research itself has had limited success, but there are entities out there that have gotten FDA approval for treatments. Currently, the only stem cell treatments approved by the Food and Drug Administration are products that treat certain cancers and disorders of the blood and immune system, according to the CDC. CIRM has not yielded any of those treatments. Stem cell research is still in its very early stages, but some entities have had some success, and therefore we should find it important to fund such endeavors, but the organization CIRM has failed repeatedly. I will expand on why. Obviously, CIRM is unfit for such a task and will likely waste more funding if they are funded. Smaller private clinics are more adept at finding real solutions for stem cell therapies. CIRM has proven it doesn't use the funds it was given well, as it has 0 FDA-approved treatments. Essentially, it's too big, it's too bureaucratic, and it's too burdensome. Many critics state the 29-member board approved from Prop 71 is far too large and costly and ineffective at moving the research forward. Prop 14 expands 29 board members to 35 board members, just making it even more cumbersome. This is according to the stats website. The issue with that is that many other lingering faults of the proposition lead to wasteful spending and concerning allocations of dollars to various entities. It would seem CIRM has maybe some handouts that it's likely to give out. At this point, they're just feeding mouths and feeding each other. Now, while the purpose of stem cell research is an honorable one, there are other more pressing needs that we face as a state that funds would be better allocated if they were to be used in other ways. We should save our money for more pressing issues, particularly right now going through the pandemic. An example of a more pressing issue, homelessness in California has reached staggering proportions in the last decade, and more recently with the economic outfall from the pandemic. This is a massively impactful issue. According to Nicole Nixon from the NPR article, California has lost a greater share of revenue than most states due to COVID-19. California has experienced a $54 billion deficit this year due to COVID-19, rather than the projected $5.4 billion surplus that we had thought we were going to go into before this year started. The deficit came from a massive loss of tax revenue due to the lockdown that caused many businesses to close and in turn pushed people into homelessness. If we squeeze from our already tight taxpayer during this unprecedented time, we might worsen the already serious problem of homelessness. If we are concerned with the health of our residents, we should focus on health issues for which we have proven methods to help treat, like cardiovascular disease and diabetes, using our already proven methods. If we were to allocate funds to something, this would be a much better use of those funds. According to CDC stats, heart disease is the #1 killer of all kinds for Californians, killing over 62,000 people a year from the state. We're ranked 40th out of 50 states. We could definitely improve in that area. In addition, the America's Health Ranking website shows lifestyle changes, medicines, and medical procedures can help prevent and or treat angina and cardio health disease. An analysis of National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey data shows an estimated 44% of the decline in CHD deaths from 1980 to 2000 was attributable to increases in physical activity, reductions in smoking prevalence, and lowering cholesterol and blood pressure. So those are 4 specific things that we have a track record for improvements. Why don't we fund those areas more? Perhaps let's fund personal training on insurance. Just an idea. In conclusion, Prop 14 would be a colossal waste of money for something that holds potential promise. And I say potential with light regard. Unfortunately, as we saw earlier, the track record of treatments is dismal at best as of right now. I'm confident as human beings we'll find a way, but this is not the right time and not the right use of our money. The real problem here is the organization CIRM. If Prop 14 was being allocated to stem cell research in general, I might sing a different tune. But CIRM has shown repeatedly that they cannot use funds properly. They're ineffective at creating treatments, and they would likely be a major waste of those $7 billion in taxpayer money. And most crucially, right now, during this pandemic time, when many Americans, especially Californians, are struggling, being squeezed down, pushed into homelessness, and losing not only their livelihoods but their lives, this would be a waste of money and a very poor decision. Vote no on Prop 14.